Hello and welcome to the Hispanic Patriot podcast, everybody. A weekly podcast broadcast live from a secret, undisclosed location here in the heart of the great state of Colorado. Thank you for joining us. My name is Nicholas Razzo, and without further ado, I present to you our fearless patron, Hugo Chavez. Give it up for the Hispanic Patriot.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Hispanic Patriot. I was out last week due to technical difficulties at the location I was at, and we have to work out some details because there's a clash once a month from the executive committee that I'm a member of. So,
yes, to remind all of our viewers, our intrepid patron Hugo Chavez Ray, proudly vice chair of Denver County Republicans. I want to remind everyone of that.
In case you're wondering, those of you seeing my face, I had a bout with a concrete sidewalk, and the sidewalk won.
So when we say fearless, patron, we mean fearless.
At first, I told everyone I'd gone to King Soopers.
You should see the other two guys.
But it's actually looking better than it was a couple of days ago. So,
no, yeah, Hugo, it looks like it was a wound with a purpose. You know what I mean?
Yep. And tomorrow I'm heading to the great state of Texas, so I'll be breathing free air tomorrow.
Yeah. So prayers for Hugo and his safe travels and enjoying your family time.
I'm gonna go get to meet my 2 great grandchildren for the first time.
Isn't that beautiful, everybody? That's just beautiful. We want to give a big round of applause for Hugo, great grandpa Hugo.
Ages 2 and 1. So, in fact, the 1-year-old birthday is this weekend. So, I'll be celebrating her birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños, Hugo.
And it's also my grandson's birthday on Saturday. So
look at that.
So I got 2 birthdays, 2 whammies.
Very good. God grant them many years.
So, hoping for some good weather heading down. I'm leaving early in the morning, and I'll be tuned in to talk radio the whole way on Patriot Radio on XM. So
this is our dedication to you folks. We are always researching, always on the top of everything.
I'll have a good drive down, because it's always interesting to hear some of the other shows on Patriot Radio. It really is full of great hosts and great topics. Lots going on nowadays, as everyone knows. We've got the radical left just going bananas over DOGE. They are obsessed now not only with President Trump, but now they've added Elon Musk to the mix. And I was interesting because I was watching the Sean Hannity interview yesterday in the White House with President Trump and Elon, and Sean asked him about what he thinks. He asked Elon about how he feels about how the left is basically lambasting him now, and he looked at him and he says, "Yeah, I used to be really popular with the left. Now,
this guy was on Big Bang Theory. I mean, this guy used to be like cameoed on TV shows and stuff. Like, they used to love Elon Musk.
Now he's public enemy number 1 because
same thing that happened to Trump. So
because he's exposing fraud, waste, and abuse. What a terrible guy.
Man, I love fraud, waste, and abuse. Man, you leave my fraud, waste, and abuse alone.
What a waste. So you got all these Democrats. They did their little "He's Not My President" rally Monday on President's Day.
President Musk, we can't stand him.
All over
Trump's
a
genius.
The country,
by the way,
they did these, and I was watching several of them on YouTube. And these people are just pathetic. This is the worst of the worst. And now, for those of you that are not well initiated, let me just lay it out for you. Those protests are all organized and orchestrated by left-wing globalist loons with money, okay? All you need is a few agitators, and then all the lemmings fall right into place and start shouting their stupid slogans.
Well, and their slogan is usually your our left-wing billionaire who funds us is good. Your right-wing billionaires who help you guys are bad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's hilarious to hear leftists.
How dare you try to save us money?
Well,
How
Trump's
dare
a genius, by the way, because
how dare you protect our tax revenue? I mean,
Trump, but we're all talking about Elon Musk, aren't we? Now the left is burning Elon Musk in effigy. It almost feels like they don't even care about Donald Trump anymore. I think Trump has pulled off a genius move to get them all to complain and BS about Elon, and now they're too busy talking about Elon to talk about him. It's genius, really, if you think about it.
What's hilarious about this whole thing is they act like Elon is trying to enrich himself
Somehow, magically, by
okay.
I always find that the guys who do my audits always end up rich by the time they walk out of my office. It's really
the guy who happens to be the richest man in the world is now somehow interested in ripping off taxpayers to enrich himself.
But Hugo, you know what it is? It's the fact that these Democrats don't understand what we Republicans understand about economics, in that the private sector always makes way more money than the government. The government doesn't make anything. It only consumes resources. So if you're a CEO in a private company, I'll put it this way. The U.S. industrial machine of the military industrial complex, its corporate profits are less than Google's, less than any major company in Silicon Valley. Because as it turns out, the government doesn't make money. It only spends money. It only consumes resources. So the idea that Elon went into the government to make money, especially a regulatory agency, is silly. You guys don't know how the government works. You don't know how economics works. But we already knew that.
and the other thing is he's working for free.
Yeah, that's a special thing right there.
So
Trump is too.
Yeah, Trump is too. He did it his first term, and he's doing it again. And yet people want to, focus on that. It's like this meme that I saw. It says, so you're more pissed off that Elon Musk is exposing the fraud, waste, and abuse and the people involved than you are about the fraud, waste, and abuse.
Well, it's their fraud, waste, and abuse, though, Hugo. It's their fraud, waste, and abuse. If this was Republicans who are all getting exposed and arrested or whatever, then they would be shouting at the streets all happy and everything. This double standard exists. We know it does.
I want to see the receipts, man. I want to see people.
Can't wait.
I want to see people's heads roll, because I think bank accounts all over the world are sitting there in secret accounts in the Cayman Islands, in Switzerland, and these Democrats that have been enriching themselves for years have that money. A lot of the money that's missing,
most likely,
I believe, is distributed among the Clintons, the Bidens, the Obamas,
and every crony below them.
Yep. Speaking of the Obamas, I heard.
Speak of the devils.
It's official that they're getting divorced.
Oh man,
that's. I don't think they've broken the news yet, but I've heard behind the scenes info that that's coming. So we'll wait till it gets announced, but it definitely looks like it's a real thing.
Well, Hugo, I will say one thing about that is that PolitiFact says that this is not true because they shared affectionate social media posts sharing their long-lasting marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Because social media posts are a great indicator of romantic relationships and their status.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the DOGE thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about the DOGE Boys.
DOGE Boys.
The DOGE Boys are basically Elon's handpicked team that they have been involved in doing a lot of the research, uncovering what is going on. And this little article by Dennis Conforto is hilarious. It goes like this. Here we go again with the far left extremists labeling Trump a dictator and Musk an evil billionaire supposedly orchestrating a shadow government. According to Democratic elites, honestly, it's as if their heads are about to explode. They declare it a war and urge people to take to the streets. On TV, they're seen setting their hair on fire over this absurdity. Their on-camera antics deserve an Oscar in the slapstick comedy category. It's like watching a SNL parody, but why? What exactly have Trump and Musk done that's so dictatorial, evil, and atrocious to provoke this live three-ring circus performance from Democratic leaders? Let me break it down to you so we can laugh together at the sheer ridiculousness of it all. If you know anything about U.S. government agencies, you'll know they detest being audited, reviewed, or questioned by anyone, including Congress. When they appear before Congress, where they're supposed to be accountable by constitutional power, they dodge all questions, delay all answers, and ignore most congressional requests, both Democrats and Republicans. Now, I don't know about you, Nick, but do you think you and I could get away with going before Congress and acting the way these bureaucrats do?
Hell no, we couldn't. We would be arrested instantly. We would have the book thrown at us. 100%. No.
Well, so basically, these bureaucrats answer to no one, and even worse, they create laws only Congress is supposed to create. Truth be told, no elected official truly knows what the government is doing. These agencies self-audit and they have their own inspectors general to supposedly account for every dime and then report to Congress. So this would be like, I don't know, Bernie Madoff being allowed to audit himself and give the results to the court.
We investigated ourselves and we found that we did nothing wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. That's what your bureaucrats are doing. So it's amazing to me how all these lefties that are out there protesting and whining about what Trump and Musk are doing to uncover all this fraud, waste, and abuse. They're just apoplectic. I mean, they're talking about how Trump is Hitler, Elon is a Nazi, and how he wants to take over the world. And oh my God. And yet they ignore people like Soros and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and even Mitch McConnell.
Well, they've never had anybody like George Soros or anybody on the right before. This is brand new experience for them, completely new.
Yep. So, unfortunately, Musk is actually arguably the greatest living genius of our time and is now despised because he supported Trump's agenda to uncover fraud and government waste that the government was unwilling to do. The fraud and abuse persisted so long as the normal way of doing things that it got ugly for all Americans. Now to fix ugly, it gets ugly. And this is what happens when politicians choose nonsense over common sense. So, Democrats weren't worried because auditing the government agencies controlled by Democratic Party members would require a massive army and so much red tape that it would go all the way out of all audits simply disappearing. They didn't understand Trump's commitment after all. And this is the thing. President Trump said this all along in the campaign. And what did the American people say? We want you, and we want you to follow through on what you're promising. So now the president is following through on his promise to which he was elected, and these idiots on the left want to question every single move and try to act all tough we're going to fight in the streets. Yeah, let's fight in the streets. You and your rainbow flags and us and the AR-15s and AK-47s. Let's see how that goes. Oh my God, these people are just pathetic. So anyway, the thing goes on to talk about Elon's AI centers for trillions of combinations and algorithms. And in that are what they call the DOGE Boys. These kids, well, I call them kids because I'm 75. So, but Gavin, Luke, Ethan, Cole, Akash, and Edward,
Edward BigBalls,
aka BigBalls.
But the news was very to repeat over and over again. That his online was BigBalls. He's also the youngest person on there. So.
Look at this. 25 is the oldest guy in this group. Okay. But these kids,
there's 19.
These guys are basically geniuses.
They're the kind of people you would never want auditing you because they're not old enough to be used to the smell of BS. They instantly smell it.
Yeah. So, the 6 boys, it says Elon approached it like he did SpaceX, how to do it faster than NASA, better than Boeing and all space industry manufacturers, and for 90% less. So get this, he hires at his own expense. Key point, at his own expense. The government is not paying these kids. Elon is paying these kids. Okay. So he hired them at his own expense, the 6 boys that make up DOGE, to find what others had hidden. Congress didn't need to approve funding, and what he did with 6 young men, Democrats would have done with a department of 20,000 and 5 years to protect it or not expose it. What was really happening with our money. So now, how do 6 boys do that? They used Elon's AI centers for trillions of combinations and algorithms. And just like that, they found what we all knew. The government is wasting our money and placing us all in debt. The Democrats went nuts. The cat was out of the bag, and instead of being mad at the waste and abuse of non-elected bureaucrats, they were mad at Elon and 6 boys who were supposedly the end of democracy.
Well, I like to give new democracy, I'll be honest.
This is, how many times have they got to use the same playbook? He's a threat to democracy. It's the end of democracy.
Sounds like democracy couldn't stand up to a win, actually, by the way they think of it.
Well, you know what I say to all that? We're not a democracy.
We're a constitutional republic.
Yeah. I'm so sick of hearing that word.
Maybe we should have the end of democracy now, honestly. Because democracy in my life has always been the thing that keeps me poor and constantly being condescended to. So being a Republican is where freedom is, folks.
Yep. So anyway, the left wants protesters to take to the streets and, as they say, go to war. But why? Why all the fuss over 6 young men and who have for the first time used AI technology to discover and report waste, duplication, fraud, theft, crime, corruption, and payoffs. Folks, if you're out there whining about DOGE, then you need a lobotomy, because
they already have one, Hugo.
Our money has been being wasted for decades. This isn't something new. Our money has been going down the tubes, which is why they continually want more.
Yeah, folks, Hugo has been seeing this for 40 years, so don't you gotta trust me when he says this.
Yeah, but you know who's crying the loudest? The ones about to get caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Those are usually the ones that do.
And what you don't realize is it's going to be both Democrats and Republicans. Then you'll begin to understand how people in Congress or former presidents can leave office and suddenly be worth 200 million plus. Yes, I want to know that. I want every single person who went into Congress or any other political office, let's say at a net worth of $100,000 and came out with a net worth of 50 million plus and on a salary of $174,000 a year. I want to see that. That's magic. If you can show me how to do that, by God, everybody should be able to do that.
Let's be honest. If that was the financial sense of these people, we wouldn't be the way we are. No, and one thing that's huge is they didn't know that this happened so fast. They didn't know that young men who knew that they were doing, who had power of AI and the speed of technology, would find all this so fast. They thought they had time to sweep it under the rug. That's why we're seeing this right now. This giant explosion of information, backlash.
Yep. And you got what do you call Zelensky? He was interviewed, and in the interview, he said Congress has appropriated approximately $175 billion to Ukraine. And he says, I've only received about 80.
So what he's saying is that Democrats' greed has killed probably hundreds, maybe thousands of his people instead of real weapons. But I'm glad the Democrats had their cars, you know.
Yep. So if you want to know who did what, it says in the article, who benefited and hidden offshore accounts for all government officials, then I am here to tell you DOGE already knows. The DOGE knows.
We can sniff it out. That's why DOGE is man's best friend.
Yep. So this is going to get interesting, folks. This is if you haven't seen this article, I encourage you to look it up and go ahead and read it. But this one came out from a gentleman called Dennis Conforto.
Yes. So shout out to Mr. Dennis Conforto. Thank you so much for these prophetic and wise words.
Yep. So anyway, I am so happy to see the left just losing their marbles over this, and
particularly over this.
And I think, it's going to be fun. That's all. I mean, President Trump hasn't even been in office for a month.
That's what I want to ask Democrats, actually. Have you guys ever had fun? I've never seen you guys had fun. We Republicans have been having fun for about, I'd say 15 years, I'd say. Even the Tea Party was great fun, honestly. Starting in 2010 and everything. Hugo, you remember those days. We've been having fun for 15 years, and now this is actually the peak at the party. Like, this is Donald Trump's second term has been going faster than the speed of light. Again, like I said, the reason the Democrats are so flustered is because they thought they had time to cook the books. And yet BigBalls and the rest of the DOGE Boys were able to find out their little schemes within a few weeks. But this is what us young people can do. And that's why I want to give a big thanks again to Hugo, who sees young talent, who supports young talent, and yet has such a wealth and wisdom of experience. He sees how much can be done by throwing us young guys into spots that those old Democrats aren't ready for, and us messing up their apple carts. This is what people like our patron really commit themselves to. So that's why Hugo, I refer to as the godfather of Hispanic politics in Colorado. Trademark that.
I'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
Say hello to our little friends. BigBalls.
Yes. We'll be keeping an eye on BigBalls. And
that was probably a horrible way to put that, Hugo. I'm sorry, but it was the funniest way to put it, right? Like, we had to make that.
We're going to definitely keep our eyes on BigBalls.
We know that Anderson Cooper of CNN is going to keep his eyes on BigBalls. That's what his news career will be made by.
Yeah, he has a different motive.
Him and Don Lemon and the rest of them. I don't know which one of them are gay. I only know the two famous gay ones. I'm sure they have more.
Anderson Cooper is definitely gay.
That guy could, in the words of Robert E. Ermey, suck.
We won't dive into that. That's okay. It's his lifestyle. As long as he keeps it to himself, I'm good.
There we go. That's the Republican way.
So let's jump over to a Colorado topic, and something that popped up on my news feed, and it's regarding the Trump administration and the potential to freeze funding for a Durango School District. This issue came up because some friends of ours uncovered it.
Indeed.
And it really just kind of highlighted what's going on in this particular school district, but also others.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to want to miss this one, okay? Durango schools,
So
there's something crazy going on.
Oh yeah, Durango, just so you know, is a infiltrated, beautiful section of Colorado that has been basically taken over by California.
They weren't prepared for it at all. They just the Democrats swept in.
Yep. So a virtual meeting between Colorado GOP leaders and their La Plata County colleagues became contentious last week as party officials debated the next steps in a proposed legal battle with the Durango School District. Now, let me give you some context here. This article is written by the Colorado Times Recorder, which is a far left-wing rag. So this next part is going to make sense to you. State Republican leadership, with the backing of known extremist group Moms for Liberty.
Now, known extremist group Moms for Liberty. Didn't we interview a member of this extremist group a couple weeks ago?
We last week we had Miss Davis on, who is the chairperson for El Paso County chapter of Moms for Liberty. And anyway, so this is how they introduced this group. Known extremist group, Moms for Liberty, targeted Durango School District 9R after its board members proposed a resolution affirming staff's right to display progress pride flags and Black Lives Matter as protected government speech. Now, tell me what the heck pride flags and Black Lives Matter have to do with school. Tell me if it's not.
I can't do that.
If that's not indoctrination, I don't know what the hell it is.
It is. They want the right to indoctrinate children as part of their job.
Yep. So they at the school board on their January 28th meeting ultimately passed the resolution with an outpouring of support from students and families in Durango. Yeah, that wasn't staged at all.
No. Anybody who is working in the school district who has kids, those kids were dragged and used as props. I know how this works. We all know how this works. It's pathetic and sad. But we got some fine people mentioned in the next paragraph.
Yep. So, state GOP Vice Chair Hope Sheppelman, who lives in
Hope.
She lives in La Plata County, and Darcy Schoening,
big shout out Darcy
from El Paso County, who is the party's director of special initiatives and former chair of the El Paso County Moms for Liberty,
and running for state chairwoman. It should be said.
Yep. Hosted the meeting to share their plans with other local GOP officials. There were about 9 people in attendance. Well, that's 9 more intelligent people that were at the original school meeting.
11 people. This rag is pull a fast one on us.
So
there were 11 people.
Darcy basically began by saying they are looking at potential lawsuits and legal remedies, but also that they were trying to elevate their grievances to a national stage. So Durango maybe get put on the national map here pretty quick. And we wanted to coordinate because we have reached out to our congressional people and the Trump administration. We know they have made this a priority. Schoening said that they would reach out to the administration to freeze the 9R school district's funding. I applaud that. Yes. Freeze their funds. In fact, President Trump has pretty much said the same thing in his executive orders, that when he declared that all of this nonsense going on in schools was not going to be tolerated in any school district that wanted to participate in this kind of activity would see their funds frozen. So I think you got to cut the head of the snake off, and you got to hit them where it hurts, which is the pocketbook. So I applaud that. And
absolutely.
I don't care what these people that are crying, oh, it's going to hurt the children. Well, then get out and get a new school board, or tell the school board to knock off the nonsense so that they can get their funding.
Exactly. School is not a place for politics. It ruins the school experience for the kids and everything of the sort. It's terrible.
Yep. So Scheppelman added that considering the increased attention on Colorado with high-profile ICE raids in Denver and Aurora, they were confident they could elevate Colorado and this issue about Colorado. So some members expressed frustration that there weren't more conservatives who turned out to the January school board meeting to support the endeavor. It wouldn't have made any difference because I've been to some of these meetings, and they're like little dictators, and they don't listen to anybody. And so you could have 100 people, stand up in opposition, and they would still vote the way they wanted.
Absolutely. But real quick, Darcy actually on a personal level, she actually drove all night or all day, I forget what it was. Very long time to get here to Durango. It's not easy to get to Durango from the
Durango is an 8-hour drive from Denver.
Through mountains, unless you want to go around. So Darcy really showed a lot of fortitude by even being there in the first place, and as strongly as she was. So we're very happy to have her in our corner.
Yep, and so Darcy basically issued this retort. It says, "You have less than a month to continue your sordid pedophilia deeds. We and the Trump administration will be dealing with you all and your rainbow-haired kids who are being groomed whilst grooming others can find a new platform for their fetishes." She continued, "I made firm promises to deliver justice to professionally and personally bankrupt the district and any staff member for promoting more transgender and anti-woke violence. So we can't make personal attacks against the school board," said Ruggles. "We can't make threats against board members. I would request we not do that again." Okay. Yeah. But you can threaten people and you can tell them that you're not going to listen to them. So with all due respect, Darcy said, "I'm not going to entertain leftist talking points right now on this call. Now is the time for bold action." Schoening told Ruggles that she never made any physical threats against the board members. She did, however, threaten to professionally and personally bankrupt district board members and staff who disagreed with her perspective on transgender people, in addition to equating the actions of the board to pedophilia. So we'll see. I can only hope that she heard me, she said, and others on the call. Ruggles concluded, "We do not agree with personal threats." Yeah, they always have something to fall back on like that. "Oh, you're threatening us. You're calling us out. Yeah, we're exposing you for who you are, you perverts."
I would love some of these Democrats to meet somebody from Juarez or Rwanda or somewhere where there's actual problems to these people. "I feel threatened by these Republicans who don't like me sexualizing children. I'm a victim." Come on, you know what you're doing. It's you're gonna get tons of backlash. So just take your lumps and be done with it. No, these people want to not only do evil things, they want you to leave them alone while they're doing them.
Oh yeah. They don't like pushback, but
we're giving it to them.
They're in the wrong era.
They really are.
This is the Trump era, and we're pushing back, but we're not only pushing back, we're pushing back hard.
Yeah, and it's not even, I want to say one thing, Hugo, it's not just about an era, because you've seen timeless people in your life. You see the kind of archetypes that exist in young people. This is an American spirit that has, let's be honest, has been crushed and oppressed for maybe more than 30, 40, 50 years. We don't really know how long it's been going on. But being American, being who we really are, we get to be that now again. And Hugo, it feels pretty good. I think you might agree.
I definitely agree. So what do you got for us tonight?
Well, let's stick with something national, because I'm certainly happy about this, because as you know, I'm a huge supporter of DOGE. I love it. DOGE is a man's best friend. And we also have our good friend Greg Lopez, where we try to get on the show to talk about what's going on with Doge. But
I think
Hugo,
in Texas they're calling it doggy.
Doggy? Oh man, get
Doggy.
along, little doggies.
Get along, little doggy.
Get along, little big balls. But
Yeah.
Hugo, we might not just see the end of national debt with this. We might not just see the end of corruption. We might see $5,000. Can you believe that?
Oh, tell me about that.
Oh, I'm sure. I knew you were going to get excited for that one. So what we have here is this idea from, we call this the DOGE Dividend. Elon Musk waged a dividend to send Americans checks using the saved funds. They have found so much fraud and abuse that they might be able to give us money for it. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Well,
so
I saw somebody call for refund of tax money.
They did.
They said it's our money, and all this waste and abuse has been taken out of our pockets. So I think citizens deserve.
No, it really has.
And I think if it was up to me, I would only send it to Republicans, since the Democrats.
I was like, yeah, why should we send? Well, I guess we got to be fair, right, Hugo? I mean, the Democrats have paid some Democrats have paid some amount of taxes sometimes. So no, you're right. I don't really have much argument for that. Never mind. But Hugo, this would actually be $416 a month. What that means, Hugo, is that our wasteful government has probably been costing the average American about $300 to $400 out of their daily bread every month. We all could live. So many poor people, so many working class people, even middle class people that I know could completely have their lives changed by an extra $400 a month. That is absolutely ridiculous that our government.
That's a car payment. Yeah.
It is, exactly. So apparently, if Doge achieves its goal in cutting $2 trillion from the federal government, that would provide 78 million tax-paying households with a $5,000 refund or DOGE dividend, with the remainder being used to pay down the national debt. Well, we have literally been broke by these Democrat people.
Yeah, that's about the number of people that voted for Trump, so that'd be about right. All Trump voters get a refund.
Look at that. You know what I mean? And it's well deserved. You know what I mean? Because we've been, like I said, we've been economically oppressed. One thing that I want to kind of mention that I don't think gets talked about enough, the kind of society that Democrats build, we Republicans have to kind of go into our own economic spaces in order to thrive in it. We have to literally work kind of double, because you guys have your corrupt crony system that we're not a part of. So we, in the real world, in the little class, in the working class, we actually have to bake things that people want to buy and eat and consume and like is healthy for people. We actually have to do real work to attain any kind of wealth. So the world that you've created for us, we've lost a lot more than just the $2 trillion you've wasted through our government. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And you're lucky if we only have to get $5,000 back, because Democrats have taken so much more from the working class of America, and we Republicans are not going to forget about it. Folks, this Doge thing is just the tip of the iceberg. But if that tip of the iceberg comes with $5,000, I'm a happy guy.
Well, you know what? I might even be in favor of them paying interest on that $5,000 that they took from us for how long now?
Be good. Yeah, there you go.
Let's be like the IRS and compounded interest against the government. So
well, Hugo, that Albert Einstein once said that compound interest is a mightier force on earth than nuclear weapons.
Yep.
They're about to feel it.
Well, the IRS definitely knows that. That's for sure.
No, I agree with you. They owe us a lot more than just $5,000. But can we believe this right now, that our government, we've been talking, joking, shouting from the rooftops for decades that this was happening. And what was the reaction that we got, Hugo? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, we know the government's wasteful. Yeah, how bad could it be? This is how bad it can be, folks. This is how bad it can be.
Even in my wildest imagination, I didn't imagine what they're uncovering. It's just
me too, and I was a
mind-boggling. And in such record time, you've got some very smart people that they turned loose, and I think President Trump knew exactly what he was doing when he put Elon Musk in charge of this thing.
Well, and it's not just Elon, it's his young people too. Exactly. You're right.
It was originally Vivek was involved in it as well, but he had to exit so he could go run for governor in Ohio. So I think we're just the tip of the iceberg. I saw a meme on Facebook, and it showed, an iceberg, and it showed the tip sticking out of the water, and then the massive iceberg below. That's what DOGE represents. The tip has been exposed, but what's underneath the water is massive, and that's what the rats that are crying the most don't want the American people to see.
Well, we're seeing it right now. I mean, they already found, as we say here, $55 billion from just canceling federal leases we didn't need, asset sales, fraud, deletion, regulatory savings, workplace. This is just the stuff we did proactively. This isn't even the stuff that we found out happened in the past. So if we're literally having this snake getting eaten from the tail and the head. And when it comes to the center of the snake here, we are going to find not only just the dollar amounts, but the names on the checks. I want the names on the checks who have been going to the Cayman Islands, who have been going to wherever our money's been going. Those people, their wealth and assets are also going to contribute to that $2 trillion because people have to pay restitution. If us little people have to pay, the IRS auditing us for $500 in income, whatever have you, this is big. This is huge. This is worth more than just $2 trillion. If that's only what the government waste was, the people who enabled this have to monetarily pay, and legally too.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, I firmly believe it's both Democrats and Republicans.
100%.
And there's no refuge just because you're a Republican. If you've been pulling this junk, then you need to be exposed.
Especially if you're a Republican, like you've been hiding behind hating the Democrats for their fraud, waste, and abuse, and you've been enriching yourself. No, as Christ said, hypocrite.
Yep. All right, we got a few other topics that we want to cover. One of them is about a little CBS story that these people are just never ending when it comes to trying to expose, if you will. I guess they haven't been sued enough. And so now
let's give them what they want. You know what I mean?
We've got this little story that popped out about this secret FBI agent. Let's watch.
Agents and other Bureau employees for possible firing. Those who were involved in the investigation of the January 6th riot.
Look at all those patriots and federal
Today,
agents.
another judge blocked the Justice Department from releasing a list of their names.
Scott McFarland spoke with an agent on that list who says the Bureau is in turmoil. We are protecting the agent's identity here tonight. Scott?
We're protecting the agent's identity?
Yeah. Secret agent, man.
Yeah. Secret agent, man.
Maurice, this
I've given you a number and taken away your name.
For anyone who wants to
is
see more things on the
spreading
show,
inside the
like,
FBI
comment,
among
and
agents
subscribe.
who try to track down terrorists, child predators, and violent gangs, but who also were part of the investigation into January 6th.
The largest criminal investigation in FBI history has given way to potentially its largest crisis.
Do you think this is a distraction?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Look at that.
Personally, I've
Look
lost
at that
sleep over this.
FBI agent.
This agent who helped arrest January 6th rioters fears retaliation from new leadership of the Justice Department for speaking with CBS.
He looks like going on
There's
Twitch
just a lot
game.
of unknowns, and it feels like no one has our backs.
Trump allies at the Justice Department ordered the FBI to
We're
send
the
a
most
questionnaire
powerful on
nationwide to identify the personnel who investigated January 6th and make a list for leadership to review. The agent is one of approximately 5,000 names on that list.
What was it like filling out that questionnaire?
Oh, gee, my hand got
Saying
tired
what you did and
writing.
when you did it.
Maybe you feel like the people I oppress.
Defeated. We all feel defeated. And really for nothing. We just.
The scrutiny and storm cloud hovering
You
over
gonna cry?
FBI employees
How do
over
you
their
think
work on
our
cases
friends
that
don't
yielded
know
more
they
than
were arrested
1,000
for no
guilty
reason?
pleas and a 100% conviction rate in
This is
jury
far harmless
trials
at this point.
sends a chilling message, the agent warns.
Yeah, 100% conviction rate. Why? Because they're kangaroo courts.
That's what they're yours. What are you worried
Or do we pick and choose? Are we allowed to pick and choose what we feel comfortable based
You
off
think
our...
this might scare people off taking certain cases in the future?
Absolutely. I mean, we're all
Because the
humans.
American people good.
Agents who testified or signed their names to public court documents worry of retaliation from riot defendants.
Your followers, any messages to them?
Keep the fight, 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 fight.
Or their sympathizers.
It almost as if these defendants that were all pardoned have been put on a pedestal of being more patriotic and more loyal to this country than
That's what happens when you go to jail
go
in this
out
country.
every single day away from their families and put their lives on the line.
What do you make of that?
I really am at a loss for words. It hurts. We'll say that. It
You'll
hurts.
be at a loss for words when they bust you.
A Justice
I always
Department
love
official
being
in
at
a
a loss
message
for
to the
words in the
FBI
middle of an
earlier this
interview.
week said agents who were simply following orders or carried out their duties
Simply
in an
following
ethical manner
orders.
will not be subject to disciplinary issues. But John and Maurice,
You know what CBS stands for, right?
Enlighten us.
Consistent BS.
agents and their attorneys say they are not convinced.
Scott, how much of a distraction is this, all of this, to what FBI agents
Oh,
are
I'm
paid
distracted.
Your tie is very distracting, Tom. I
A
agree.
remarkable distraction, according to that agent, checking your email every so often, wondering if that's the time you're going to get a termination notice.
How
There's
dare
also
our
a Doctors
relationship
Association
have such
representing
emails?
agents. They say
Yeah.
there was one who was pulled off the response to that plane crash at Reagan National Airport to go back and fill out the January 6th survey, then return to the crash site.
Boy, Scott, it is so rare for an agent to speak out publicly like this. I'm wondering, do they feel like they can ever get back to normal and just do their jobs?
Yeah, once Kash Patel gets in charge, you'll find it's going to get back to normal.
The agents are concerned there's been a fracture, Maurice, in the independence of the Department of Justice, the legendary independence of the FBI, that is
And that
now
seems to be for like 30
broken
years.
indefinitely.
Continuing coverage now as the judge.
Yeah,
The president is also-
very independent for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, give me a break, man.
The fear of accountability here. And again, Squid Game's FBI man over there, like, again, you're feeling exactly what you're delivering to the American people. Like, there's a certain thing of like, you should only do unto others what they should do unto you. I mean, that's the great sage Hillel once said that is the full of the Torah. That is the full of the Old Testament of the Bible, is to do unto your neighbors what you would do what they would have to do unto you. All the rest of the Torah is commentary, is what he said. So if this federal agent feels all of that, maybe he should look and say, you know what? I've made hundreds of my countrymen feel exactly what I feel. Maybe this is a learning experience. Maybe it's time for me to be a different kind of federal agent. But hopefully enough of them will do that and we'll have a department still. I believe there are good people who want to be FBI agents in this country. If you're watching and you want to be an FBI agent, go for it. The department needs you more than it needs these people.
Yep. All right. So now we're going to have a little bit of fun. We've over the weekend, of course, SNL had their little 50-year broadcast, and one of the skits included Tom Hanks. Mr.
I usually like that actor, so maybe I'm sure he did a good thing, right? I'm sure we'll see something
Mr.
positive,
Ford
right?
Loop himself. Wow, life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're gonna
Gonna
get.
get. And this
Well, we know what we get with Democrats. We get bad entertainment that isn't very like what do you call it? Entertaining. So
Yeah.
I imagine that's what we'll be seeing from an otherwise great actor.
Yeah, let's take a quick peek here at what Mr. Hanks decided to do.
Do we have to?
Yeah, well, it has to be shown because
No, you're right. No, we have to show this. Our audience needs
this
to see
guy,
it. Guys, this is you're about to
this
find
is
out what they
actually
think
a
of you.
disgrace for a pretty good actor. I
It
mean,
really is.
I can't deny the guy's talent as an actor, and I used to be a big fan, but in the last year and a half, 2 years, I have basically disowned him.
Well,
So
gee, I want to
a Trump supporter. So he puts on a sort of kind of raggedy outfit, with an old kind of retro raggedy shirt. He's wearing the Trump hat, and he essentially is impersonating this is what he thinks of half of the country. This is what he thinks of 75 million people who voted for President Trump. This is what he thinks about somebody who's probably the most popular American president we've had in decades, if not of all time. His approval ratings are up the roof. Even woke propagandist media outlets are reporting this. I mean, they've taken polls, internal, external, et cetera, et cetera. We can feel it too. The American spirit is alive. But somebody who has made hundreds of millions, if not more, off of Americans paying good money to see his work, he just essentially gave a middle finger to all of us. And it wasn't even funny. That's the crazy part. It was so lazy, so poorly executed. So,
Yeah, I think that's a good point because I've seen other actors, liberals, that did some skits that actually were funny, and I had no problem laughing. But now you got this Oscar-winning actor who has been one of the top actors in Hollywood for a long time and has made some pretty good movies, come out with this disaster of a performance, and I think he just
when we see it, we'll probably see if he phoned it in or not, honestly, because maybe he honestly really didn't care very much to do this, but just did so.
Oh no,
we'll have to see.
I have a feeling it was his idea.
Lacking there was no thought put into this skit. I'm going to share it with you right now. So the audio is going to be a little bit difficult to hear, but basically he's making fun of Trump supporters. He's adopting I don't know if you could even call it an accent. And then the real kind of crux is, besides him demeaning and defaming Christians, he also acts really horrified about shaking a black person's hand. Watch this.
How you doing now? I heard a fellow could win some money here, and I know exactly who that is. The church lady.
Yes, that is correct, Doug. Thank you. That is the church lady. $400 for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Hey, now, speaking of church, can I say something? If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
That's kind of true at any point.
Oh, no, he's just
lazy, abominable.
That is actually pathetic.
It's really pathetic because, like most MAGA, like a lot of the new officers in the Republican Party these days, it's like the late Roman Empire foederati. Like, there's tons of minorities in a lot of powerful positions in the Republican Party right now. Like, it more than ever before I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who says Trump supporters are racist at this point, like 8 to 10 years, I'm sorry, it's been like more than 12 years at this point into this movement. If you're still calling it a racist movement, you are disingenuous, you have not done your research, or you're just listening to other people at this. It's not true.
They're just robots parroting the left line. It's like
Republican, bad, Democrat, good.
I don't know what to say. You're racist.
Well, even the FBI agent didn't know what to say in the middle of his interview, so I guess that's true. They're completely dumbfounded right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very sad to see, but this is what we see, the degeneration of Hollywood and tons of other stuff, and this is not going to do good for their careers. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think his career is over because I think he's on the list. And
you wouldn't have to do stuff like this if your career was actually functioning. So
that's why he moved to Greece.
Yeah. Fair enough. But where people understand what being broke is like.
Okay, this next little clip that I ran across is is basically a good example of Nancy Pelosi stumbling all over her own words.
Again?
Let's watch this. This is hilarious. All right, here we go.
It was Nancy Pelosi who orchestrated a coordinated effort to squeeze President Biden to drop out. Please tell us what you told President Biden to persuade him to step aside.
Well, I've never shared any conversations with the President of the United States publicly, no.
It's said that he's furious at you, is he?
Well, he knows that I love him very much.
I understand that you don't want
tell
to
us more,
own
Nancy.
this, but it is so well reported that you were the leader of a pressure campaign.
No, I wasn't a leader of any precious party. Let me say things that I didn't do. I didn't call one person. I never called anybody. What I'm saying is I have confidence that the president would make the proper choice for our country, whatever that would be. And I said that. Such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president of the United States.
Mount Rushmore, he wouldn't be worth scraping the dung off the bottom of the mountain, man.
To make a small little like
want to know what comes next.
That he belongs up there, Lincoln and Joe Biden.
So is Kamala doing okay?
Okay, this next one is hilarious.
This guy had a little fun for you folks.
That was Nancy just rambling. I guess she didn't have enough vodkas that afternoon. I don't know.
So is Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded. And now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls. So yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe, you're not going back in.
Shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
We had to get Clinton in there like that, right? But no, actually, we're hearing so much information about this now recently, about what was really going on in the Joe Biden administration. And Hugo, we didn't have time to talk about this actually, but something we should mention is that in recent interviews, certain individuals who have moved from the Democrat to Independent Party have been now claiming that Joe Biden, after the first debate with Donald Trump, was in fact primarily influenced and controlled by Hunter Biden and Jill Biden working together as a family. So for a short time, there has been accusation that our country was run by a literal crack addict.
Yep.
Without security clearance.
There's no doubt in my mind. That's why Jill is apoplectic about getting booted out of the White House. Dr. Jill. Yeah.
Well, now we know, that we had no president
I'd
for
rather
about
have
a year at least.
I'd rather have Dr. Hook than Dr. Jill.
And people want to complain about Elon Musk having his position. It's like, at least Elon Musk isn't a literal crack addict with gun charges. Like, that is what Joe Biden brought into our White House. So y'all are complaining about what President Trump is inviting. At least President Trump didn't invite someone who brought literal cocaine to the White House. Like, it's absurd. We really are seeing this contrast. Guys, hold this contrast in your hearts forever, because we're going to have so many decades of Republican versus Democrat politics in this country until we take things over, until we get things right permanently. Never let them forget this contrast. Never let them forget what's happening now.
I want to close out with a bit of good news from the judicial side. And this is about a federal judge declining to block DOGE from federal data, which was a ploy by the left
from 14 states,
to
including California, to block the Department of Government Efficiency and Elon Musk's access to federal data.
I guess
the federal judge said there are legitimate questions about Elon Musk's authority. There is not enough evidence to justify a temporary restraining order. On its website, DOGE claimed it has saved U.S. taxpayers $55 billion in just 4 weeks. It's also posting receipts from contract and lease cancellations to workforce reductions and identifying fraud. Democrats are also criticizing DOGE seeking access to sensitive government data, including IRS and Social Security records.
Will find that, no, you can't just start rifling around, rummaging through people's Social Security data. If you think there's fraud,
the Social Security Administration and
Inspector Generals.
In a court filing this week, the White House claims Musk is not part of DOGE, only a senior advisor to the president, a technicality that could grant Elon Musk unfettered access to government records. Well, tonight, President Trump and Elon Musk defending DOGE on Fox News.
One of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out. And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing because the president is the elected representative of the people. So he's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
So far, the heads of the Social Security Administration and FDA's Food Division have resigned in protest to actions from the department.
Resign, all of you.
If you can't handle it, really, I mean, if you can't handle a simple audit, because again, people have to understand this.
These people are so stupid that they don't understand Elon Musk founded PayPal. So all these idiots are saying, "Oh, he's got access to my data."
You gave him access to your data like 10 years ago, man. Elon Musk has had your data by your choice for all this time. If he wanted to do something with it, he would have. People have to understand the because Hugo, I think that people don't really understand what the executive office of this country does, or when they hear the word executive, I don't think they understand what it means. Trump has the right to appoint employees who help him understand data. Really, Elon Musk doesn't have the power to do anything except to tell Donald Trump what's going on, and then Donald Trump's departments do what needs to be done.
Bingo.
That's all that's happening. That's all that's happening.
They act like Musk is calling all the shots, but no.
No, but people need to be educated, Hugo. But we got some good news for our fans, is that our good friend Greg Lopez is part of DOGE, and we are going to be reaching out to him for an interview to talk more about this as information comes along. And you guys are going to be watching us as we follow the money, as we follow DOGE, as it sniffs through all the fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yep. I think we need to print up some DOGE t-shirts and get them on the website.
There you go, folks. So look out for new Hispanic Patriot merch. And while you're at it, why don't you drop us a like in the comments, visit our website, subscribe to all of our platforms, and if you are so inclined, please donate to help us improve our messaging to you guys. We always want to improve, and we need your help to do it. So thank you guys for joining us.
Like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe, please.
Absolutely,
We can get so much more information out if you do that and help us.
Absolutely. We're reaching almost 300 on YouTube, folks. So help us by the end of the month break this goal. We're going to be trying to break 300 by the end of the month, and you guys are going to help
300 and head on towards 400. And
there you are. We're
by the way, make sure that you send us your comments. Send us the topics you'd like to hear about.
Yes, of
and
course.
We're an open book here. If you've got something to say that's contrary to what we're doing, that's fine. Just keep it clean. We're big boys here. We can take constructive criticism, but more importantly, we want to provide you with the information and the topics that you're interested in hearing. So help us share our platform, share our YouTube videos with your friends and family, and help us grow.
And look out for new segments also, because we have got the Millennial Minute coming up very soon. We've got our minute-long shorts for topics that we don't have the ability to fit into the show. We had a few of them today, so we are going to be making this more regular as we go forward, as we have more ability, as we have greater staff. We are going to be putting out some feelers for people who want to come and be part of the process, so look out for that. Big things from Hispanic Patriot podcast coming up this year.
Yep. And with that, I can hear the music coming.
Oh man, so can I.
we're out of time, unfortunately, but we look for you next week.
You guys are just going to have to come back next week.
I'll bring you some news from Texas. Maybe I might even drop a short if I can.
There you go, folks.
Headed down to Texas on a little road trip. So send some prayers and thoughts, and we'll be bringing back some information. But I think I'll be getting to breathe some free air come tomorrow evening.
Hey, Colorado's air is going to get freer and freer every year, thanks to Colorado Republicans, Hispanic Republicans, Log Cabin Republicans, all of our friends from all of our organizations, Moms for Liberty. We love you all. We're going to make Colorado great again.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Have a good one, and God bless America.
God bless.